Chapter 642 is not appropriate for a YouTube video, so this is a recap of it. If you want to read the full story, please take a look at the description. In the midst of a thrilling adventure, our heroine's heart races as she uncovers a hidden surprise. Tiny secret cameras planted throughout her quarters. Panic flashes through her mind. Her mission might be compromised. She steps away from her new ally, wondering how to navigate this unexpected twist. "Your quarters on the Dauntless must have been quite the change," she remarks, trying to distract herself from the cameras. "Indeed," he responds with a grin. "The life of a space explorer isn't known for its luxury." She probes further, curious about his past. "So, privacy isn't a common luxury there?" "Quite the opposite," he admits. Their conversation turns to the dynamics of life aboard a starship, revealing a camaraderie among those who face the vastness of space together. It's a life of close quarters, shared experiences, and the occasional banishment of a notorious snorer. Amidst their light-hearted banter, she can't help but notice his charismatic charm. He teases her playfully, a sign of their growing rapport. Suddenly, the tension of the hidden cameras becomes too much. "Are those cameras yours?" she asks, tentatively. With a swift motion, he neutralizes the cameras with a burst of energy, surprising her with his unexpected skills. "Stick around for our next adventure and you'll get your explanation," he says, hinting at future escapades and perhaps a budding romance. Delighted by his resourcefulness, she smiles, realizing this twist might just be a boon in disguise. Her department might be upset about the camera loss, but she senses an opportunity to cover her bases. Their conversation shifts to lighter topics, and she's taken by his curiosity about her unique heritage. With a consent and closeness forming between them, they share a gentle moment of cultural exchange. Their connection deepens as they discuss their differences and similarities, with a sense of mutual respect and fascination. The exchange is warm and enlightening, offering a glimpse into a universe rich with diversity. As the night unfolds, they plan for their next encounter, a second date that promises to be just as exciting as the first. With a mix of adventure, cultural discovery, and maybe a little romance, they look forward to what the stars have in store for them. Chapter 643. The Dauntless. There's an undeniable pang of frustration and annoyance when her communicator goes off. Her hand searches around the end table and finds nothing. She gives up on it and then holds up her hand. The device soars through the air and slaps into her hand. It's activated and she holds it next to her head. "Agent Tarn, report," one of her handlers states. Still in the arms of a hunky piece of man," she says in an annoyed tone. "Agent, I'm being very, very literal here," Jadza mutters. Also, his breathing pattern has changed. He's listening. "Do you need time alone?" Modan asks, and she thinks for a few moments. "Need, yes. Want, no." Jadza answers and he rises, the entire bed seeming to shift. He sets her down to the side. She was less in his arms as on top of him. She steals a kiss and it's returned before he leaves the bedroom and closes the door behind him. "Do you mind if I clean myself off?" "Go ahead," she calls back through the door. She then waits until she can hear the water running and then taps the communicator twice. "All right, he'll have a hard time hearing now." "What have you learned?" "I've learned that someone taught this man to be as charming as possible and then provided him with no information. He's a big, beautiful distraction and entirely well-meaning." "Who is he? What is he?" "Human male, 28 years old, from a country called Bangladesh. He's a soldier and assistant quartermaster on the ship and part of the semi-official research branch called the Nerd Squad. Basically, a bunch of enthusiasts that have been pioneering their most extreme axiom feats. The defensive brand that a lot of Undaunted have can be traced back to them, and 2 of their most powerful adepts are part of the squad as well. Basically, if you're looking for a big Axiom threat, then the Nerd Squad is where they're going to be. Is he one? I think so. He showed no sign of fear when challenged by an empty hand master, seemingly more concerned with the date being interrupted. He's skilled at hiding weapons and his Axiom control level is very high. Anything else? Pain is not going to scare this man. Not only does he have an Axiom brand, but he has many scars across his body. This man has been in a lot of pain and trouble through his life. I've seen what can only be old bite marks, burns, surgical scars, and more. So he's skilled, powerful, and tough, but not a spy? No, he's been far too open for that. And if it's faked, then it's a fake so good that he's entirely out of my league. He's either not a spy or such a good spy that he's not something I can stop. I see, by the way, was it deliberate when he rendered all our nearby teams distracted with that Axiom burst? Oh, he was just letting his feelings out. Believe me, she says in a very smug tone. Lucky bitch. Yes, I did get lucky. Okay. So we have a super soldier trained in seduction who's part of the logistical branch of his organization and the research division as well. One who's currently nearly naked in your apartment and has just spent the night with you. What is he bait for? Her handler demands. I don't know, but let me just say it's very tasty bait. Jadza gloats. Let's be clear here. We're not allied to the Undaunted, and he's still the subordinate of a man that completely undermined your mission, then tracked down your personal residence and sent the invitation in. Her handler states. Right. And the fact he's singing in the shower means what? She asks as she turns up the reception on the communicator so it picks up the man's baritone. I don't know. I'm sure you don't, she says. Look, I'm not stupid. I'm keeping my eyes on him. However, he's so far proven himself to be everything he claims to be. You had your girls sneaking in as we slept and checking his gear. Did you find anything to prove otherwise? Nothing. But it's got the girls going only more and more paranoid. They're convinced that there's something there. Right. Well, it sounds like he's finishing up. So while you go in circles, I'm going to see if he's up for a second round in the shower. Getting clean or getting dirty? The handler asks. Yes, Jadza answers. Sweet goddess. The handler mutters and the call is ended. Unfortunately for Jadza, that isn't the end of it, and her employers start planning. You've got a message on your communicator, Modan calls out as he dresses himself. A touch of Axiom can easily clean clothing. He just hates the sensation of running it along his skin, so he cleans himself normally. I'll be out in a minute, Jadza calls back. You up for eating out? We missed breakfast and we're soon to miss lunch at this rate? How often do you eat? She calls as she picks out a small curly hair out from between her facial claws. At least 3 times daily, and there's often snacks all over the place. I see. That shouldn't be a problem, she answers as she examines her face, and there's nothing to worry about. His formal outfit is still rumpled, and the way he carries himself makes it look outright casual. She skips the sparkling dress and is in tight leather pants and a stomach-exposing tank top. More sensible flats with special gripping pads and her traditional honor blade strapped to her wrist is something she's a lot more comfortable in than the dress. But from the way he eyes her up, it's clear that to him, the dress was just dressing. She has a deeply smug sensation as they leave the apartment with his arm over her shoulder like a cape of victory. Funnily enough, she can sense he's just as smug. Some part of her wonders how long until humans realize as a species that they're the prizes and not the prize winners. But until then, there's going to be a lot of mutual boasting. The restaurant they find has an all-day breakfast special, and the sheer quantity that Modan orders for himself is downright jaw-dropping to her. But the fact that he also pays in advance with a generous tip and easily covers hers as well puts pause to any real comment, aside from the waitress outright failing to properly flirt with him as he's giving Jadza all his attention. despite the fact that she's being brought to explain what it's like growing up on a jungle world where the local predators are considered part of the fun. Then Modin explains his own origins. Visions of fire dance through her imagination as he describes a drought-born flash fire that led into a panic, into a series of days where panic and madness gripped the hearts of the people. It had taken him 10 years to fully recover from a single month full of madness. Which leads to one question: how? How did he recover? How did everything turn out so well for him? How had he gone from a child nearly shattered by a gas line going up in a wildfire to an undaunted soldier? My uncle. He wasn't a doctor. He was a vet, Modin answers. He then traces over where one of the scars was. It was on the upper chest and over where the human heart is supposedly located. He also knew I had a strange condition. It's called isolated dextrocardia. I dodged being stabbed in the heart by an explosion through nothing more than what I was born as. He didn't have anesthesia, but he did have faith, and he told me that day that I must truly be chosen for something more, that while my back was on the ground and blood was on my chest, that I would be elsewhere and far more someday. Because no other man could be stabbed where I had been stabbed and survived, that I was being protected for a higher purpose. And you believe that? She asks him, uncertain of where he's going. I know my uncle believes that. I know he believes that with all his heart, and I can't bear the thought of disappointing him. And now, here I am, over 50,000 light years away, on the first human mission to the stars, on a planet with more people on it at any given moment than there have ever been humans as a species. I don't know if it proves him right, but I'd like to think I haven't proven him wrong yet. Why are you telling me this? I mean, I appreciate it, but I don't think we're quite that close yet, she says, and he smirks. Because everyone always asks me, why are you so happy? Why are you so kind? Why do you never seem to expect anything good and are so grateful for it all? You've asked none of them yourself, but I've sensed the questions bubbling up inside you, and that is the answer. I should have died as a child, an unfortunate victim of an unfortunate circumstance. The thread of my life should have been played out long ago and be the destination, heaven or samsara. I should have gone through it. But I did not. I did not due to a strange circumstance. Every day is a blessing, and whether I'm blessed for a higher purpose or not, I'm going to enjoy and appreciate each step. If there is trial to come, then I will face it gladly. If there are blessings to be had, then I shall receive them wholeheartedly. Life is a gift, my own perhaps more than others, but it's something very personal to be so open about. Well, that's just it. I've never understood why. I've survived terrible circumstances. I've recovered and risen up from a terrible time. What's there to be ashamed of? What's there to be reluctant over? It is personal in that it happened to me, yes, but I see no reason to just keep it to myself. I suppose it's in that way I fit so well with the rest of the nerd squad. They all have their own questions about the behavior of others. But is all this, is that why you're not afraid? Is that why you're so eager to be here? She asks. Yes, he says as he picks up a glass of water he ordered with his by now demolished meal. Savor life. Savor every part of it. Every sip of water, every move of the muscle, every sensation of air crossing over your skin. It's a feast. It's a gift. It's all important and so much more. It's yours. Indulge in it. Indulge? Don't mind if I do. One of Jadz's co-workers says, turning around at her table and picking up her drink to join them. Jadza, she's your co-worker, Modin states, and that brings everything to a freeze. What? Did you think I wasn't paying attention? I just said I'm indulging in everything life has to offer. It doesn't mean I'm ignoring things or ignorant in some way. How aware are you? Jadza asks, and he shrugs. There were about 14 women listening for all of last night. I think about 10 others in some kind of shift work, either showing up near the end or leaving halfway through. Hopefully I made them all very, very jealous. Modin answers, and Jadza groans into her hands. This is just like with the older human. Even when you're not paying attention, you are. How did you do that? I'm very good at sensing axiom. Very, very good, Modin answers. In general, I know everything going on around me for a very respectable distance, even through walls. That's very good, Jadza's co-worker says in a pained tone. How precise exactly are your axiom senses? Precise enough to know you've just hit a panic button and several weapons have been drawn. Plasma mostly, which means that they're not going to hurt me. Please relax. I'm not going to hurt anyone. I apologize, but being caught off guard in our profession is usually a bad thing. How have I caught you off guard? It's on public files that I helped develop the Undaunted brand for the publicly accessible information on it. My name and picture are on the list for the development team, and it even points out that I did at least a full quarter of the work in getting them to sense altering environment so that it can adjust what it does to suit the situation. I've openly been in research and development for extremely precise axiom senses in a brand that's being mass applied. Why is it a mystery that my own senses are so good? Most axiom adepts use brands to shore up things they're bad at. Yes, but the brands have to be designed by someone who's good at something in order for them to work properly, Modin protests. Just for the sake of understanding, how many agents are you aware of? Jadza asks. There are 20 surrounding the building. He states with certainty. We only brought 8. I didn't say they were all yours. Are they with you? No.